Now, another kind of grouping of tendencies I want to talk to you about is the tendency humans have for exactness, repetition, and sort of working toward self-perfection. And we'll talk more about exactly what I mean by that. Not perfectionism, but self-perfection, working on building a really strong self. Again, we'll think about early humans. If early humans were not exact, if they didn't repeat to build a strong exactness, their survival was at stake. A mistake in exactness could cost them or those around them their lives. So early humans were driven to be exact. They would work hard to create the highest quality tool, the most exact representation of whatever they needed. And to support this tendency toward exactness is a tendency to repetition. Children will repeat a particular activity until they are satisfied. And they can do this with great concentration. It can be exasperating to adults. I remember when my older daughter was about 18 months old, we went to the zoo and we got as far as like the first, I don't know, it was a railing or a bike stand or something. And she wanted to climb on it. And she proceeded to climb on it for an hour and a half until she was suddenly satisfied and we had to go. We didn't have time to even see the animals. This is the tendency toward repetition, exactness, and self-perfection. Something in that activity drew her enough to continue and repeat until her tendency toward self-perfection, whatever skill she was working toward unconsciously, had been met, and then she was done. In young children, we have to be really respectful and responsive to these tendencies because we can't understand it. She couldn't communicate to me what she was trying to accomplish. I just got to sit and watch. And we saw the animals another day. This repetition and exactness will occur for older children as well in the elementary, this tendency toward repetition and exactness. But we're going to see it a little differently. Children want to repeat, but they need to repeat with variety and elaboration. So they don't want to do, the same types of multiplication problems over and over again. They want to do bigger ones and better ones that take up more space in the classroom or on the paper. And they are going to perhaps involve adults a little bit more in this exactness and this self-perfection that they're working toward because they can articulate it, or we can have conversations about it as they're moving toward what is satisfying to them as they build a particular skill, as they reach self-perfection at a certain point. It's really through that repetition and exactness that self-perfection will emerge in humans. And so we have to remember when we're working with children that for them, the process is what is satisfying. It's not the goal, the product, but the process that they feel they've repeated and they've gotten to a point where they feel satisfied with it, with that process, whether or not the product is there. And as they get older, we can start supporting them in recognizing how to be more exact and work toward, higher levels of product, but still it's, as they're developing, it's that process that is key. So these tendencies that we've talked about today all really still are driving in all of us. They're all universal, and they're there to support children's development. And we have to be conscious of these tendencies and watch for them in our work with children.